Hello friends, this is Dave from Dave's Raised Bed Garden. I'm out here at the patio right now. I'm actually going to take a walk down to the garden. It is actually Thursday, May the 4th, 2023. I'm excited today. The day is so pretty today. I'm outside, the sun is shining, it's warmed up. We don't have the high winds that we were having for the past 2 days. I've been looking at my weather app and everything, and it looks like that the warm weather is finally coming in. And we're talking about night where the low temperatures won't get so cool. I've been looking ahead, I think starting on Saturday night, the temperature is going to be in the 50s, and it'll stay that way all through next week. Next week's high are going to be in the 80s, the 70s, and even some in the 60s, but at least the temperature at night will not be too cool for my warm weather plants. So you can see over my shoulder, I actually have my warm weather plants out here. I've got some seedlings that I'm going to be planting, some sunflower seeds that I'm going to be doing around the garden and everything. I'm going to turn the camera around, just let you see the warm weather plants, and then I'm going to take you down to the garden, show you what I've been able to do, and to show you how I'm trying to do some curb appeal and everything. And I'm excited about this. And if you haven't planted anything, I'd go ahead and start planting them this weekend. And I can't wait to see what the garden's going to do, and I can't wait to show you exactly how my garden's doing. I'm going to have my left knee done. I've got that bone on bone, and it's very painful. And I'm going to have that done next Thursday, so I'm going to have to take a little time off from the garden. So getting the plants in the ground, getting everything established is going to help me while I recover. It'll give time for my plants to really set and to be able to do what they need to do. So let me turn the camera around and show you my warm weather plants. I'll show you a little bit of what I told you in one of the videos about pruning, and show you exactly what the plants are doing even a week and a half later and everything. So these are the warm weather plants. You can kind of see my tomatoes. I have some peppers. These ones are still a little small. I've been putting all these plants under grow lights inside. I take them in at night because of the cold temperature, but look at the squash. The squash and the cucumber plants, they have really taken off. My tomato plants have gotten taller. I've been going through them and trying to get the new, as far as the new pods, the new blooms and everything that I've even gotten off of the tomatoes. And then my pepper plants, you can tell right here, these are the actual ones that I pruned about, I think a week and a half ago. And you can tell where I'm talking about what I'm talking about. See all that new growth? There's a ton of new growth. And when I get these in the ground, because see in these little packets, or these little I guess your grow packets, what happens is that these containers, those roots, if I pull those out, you'll see roots all the way around the bottom, and they're ready to go. They're ready to just start, growing out and everything. And normally, if you go to a garden center and everything, if they've been sitting in those, you'll see the roots just hang out underneath them and everything, and sometimes they get entangled and stuff. But these plants are ready to go in the ground. I can't wait to get them in the ground and have them done, and a few others. So I'm ready to go with these. This right here is some seedlings that I put in. These are actually just started. I'm letting them germinate. These are sunflower seeds. I've always said I want the environment, I want nature around my garden as much as I can. And what's going to happen is that it'll create the flow, hopefully, of the bees and the birds and different other things coming in, and it'll give a curb appeal. So before I take you down to the garden, you remember I was talking to you about the warm weather plants, that how the temperatures of the cool weather, how it can kind of apprehend the growth of your plants and everything, kind of stunt them and everything. Well, you see, these tomato plants are the same size as the tomato plant that I'm getting ready to show you that I put in a pot about 4 or 5 days ago. I did that on purpose, and this plant that I had, this tomato plant, I put it in this pot for a reason, because I wanted to show you and compare to see exactly what this tomato plant would do being with the cool weathers. Our temperatures at night have been in the low 40s and everything. And what I did was you can tell, when I put this in the ground, I actually pruned the leaves down here where the dirt is. And I can't feel it where I know that it's down where I had it. So it really hasn't really grown much. The other thing is that this really hasn't gotten any taller. Now this plant is going to be okay. But when we're talking about the cool weather plants, when the warm weather plant does not like the cool temperatures, what happens is its growth hormones or its root space and everything, this plant does not adjust well to cool weather. So that being said, what happens is that it's going to be a slower process for this plant to grow until the warmer temperatures get here. If the cool temperatures are cool enough, which we've been having in about 40, 41, 42 in the morning and everything, and then it's warmed up. But even like for the past 2 days, we've had some high winds, and the temperatures have been up into the low 60s, but the wind chill factor has been in the 50s. Well, this plant can only adjust based on what the weather is, what Mother Nature is giving it. So what it's doing is that it's protecting itself. It protects itself and it doesn't want it to grow, because what will happen is that it can't grow, because being a warm weather plant, it requires the warm weather for it to grow and to be able to allow it to grow the way that it effectively needs. But what's going to happen with this plant's going to be okay. But if the temperatures are in cool, like in the 30s and so forth, that can actually, if it stays over a period of time that we've had for like 2 weeks, we've had the temperatures in the 30s and the 40s at night. That what can happen with this plant is not only can it cause it to be slow in the growth period, that what it can actually do is that it can actually cause that the fruit that comes out, that it won't produce as much fruit as it would for the ones like I've had in the controlled setting under the grow lights that I have, those tomato plants up here on my table. So that's the difference that you're looking about. But this plant here is going to do okay. It's just going to be a little bit behind. And I wanted to put it out here just to show you exactly, if I took this plant out of the ground and put it with those ones that I have on the table, you would notice that this is going to be on the shorter end, because just because of the cool weather, it didn't allow, but having my plants in a controlled setting and then allowing the tomatoes to be under the grow lights, it's allow it to grow, and then when I get them in the ground, being that I'm going to put them in the ground this coming week, they'll just establish. I've been hardening my plants, but it allows it to grow and take forth and everything. So I just wanted to show you that too quickly. So let's get ready and let's go on down and let's head down to the garden and let me show you exactly what's going on and what I've been able to do in the garden today. So what I've been doing is I'm trying to do some curb appeal. If you notice that I have the border, I've showed this before, I've gone the whole way around. I've had this in the ground or around the garden for several weeks. The new fencing that I've put up and everything. The next thing that I have to do, but I can't do it right now, is that I'm gonna be putting corner stakes in each corner of the beds, each corner of the garden. And you'll notice over here where it sags a little bit, it's because of with the T-post and everything, by putting corner posts down, it'll tighten that up. But I can't do that because I did have a procedure several weeks ago, and it does not allow me to lift my arm over my head, so that would include using a hammer. So I'm still several weeks off on that, and then once I get that done, that'll be finished as far as that, and then I'll add some other stuff that I'm going to be showing. But I've got the gate in, I've got the entrance, everything into it. You can tell that what I've done is I've actually put the mulch. The mulch is all the way through the garden. It's all the way around the beds. I'm showing you this. My faithful dog is coming up. He thinks we're going for a walk, which we are. Hey, Rusty. And so now he wants to play, but that's okay. But anyway, I'm showing you what I'm doing around the garden, show you what I've intended to do. And hopefully by this weekend, all these beds will be full. You can see the beans that are sporadically coming up in this bed and then the second bed over there. I have some seeds from last year. I will say this about germination as far as the seeds. Sometimes using last year's seeds, they'll work, sometimes they won't. It depends on how you store them. One thing about storing seeds is you need to store them in a cool, dry place and a dark place, not where it gets a lot of light. That will help you. So all my seeds are in like brown bags, the paper bags, and then I have them in a container, and that's how I keep my seeds, and then I'll try them. If they don't do good, then what I'll do, the one problem that I've had, you probably see a couple little white specks in there. I've been having problems with the birds. That's another thing that I can deal with. I've got to come in here and clean up some of this plastic that I had overlapping, but all this will be done. That's the few minor things that I have. But I wanted to show you around the garden, show you what I've done. My cabbage, all of my cabbage and everything is looking really good. But all these beds are going to be full. I'll be adding some stuff behind here. And these briar bushes, or actually what they are is blackberry bushes. I don't mind them. They help the pollinators come in. But what I try to do is that if you're not careful, they'll grow into the garden. So I have future plans that what I'm doing is I'm going to cut these back and I'll have a lane here, but I'll be planting flowers back in here, sunflowers actually, and I'll be doing some more stuff I'll tell you about later. But I just wanted to give you just a little tour of what I've done. This is the spinach. I've got spinach up here, and I can't wait to see how these archways, when I get everything, what it's going to look like. And I can't wait to show you the mid-summer tour and everything. By that time I should be fully recovered and everything, and then I'll be able to really come out here and do some stuff. And that's one thing beneficial about planting the garden, and then I'm having the surgery or the procedure next week, is that what it keeps me is that it gives me time to allow my plants to grow, to get them set, the roots and everything. So that gives me several weeks, and then I can come out here and I can visit them and kind of do what I need to do. There's my lettuce. My lettuce is really taking off. It's just about time for me to be able to harvest the lettuce. You look about 40 to 50 or 60 days that you do before you start harvesting your lettuce. My beets right here in the front, they're doing very well. And then I have the collard greens, and then on the back I have the 3 types of cabbage, different cabbage right there. So those have really done well. I'm excited to see what my garden's going to be doing. And then I'll be showing you some things that what I do, because it is going to get warm. These are cool weather plants. They don't like temperatures up above 90, and I'll show you some things that I'll be doing to help them, and hopefully they'll be able to grow too. So that's what's going on. I'm just excited the way it looks. It just gives a nice curb appeal, and I've got some more ideas that I'll be sharing with you later on and everything. So I just wanted to show you this briefly and show you what's going on down here at the garden. It is such a beautiful afternoon. I hate that I have to go and start my work here in a little while, but just being out here and just seeing what my garden's doing, even my cool weather plants, and then looking at my plants that I have ready to plant, I just can't wait for this time to come. I've been gritting my teeth, as they say, and everything. I wanted to get them in the ground a little bit sooner, but I just wanted to be patient and wait and everything, and I think that I've done the right decision. I think the point that what I'm trying to do is to make my garden the best that it can possibly be. So now comes the bugs, now comes the heat, now comes a lot of things that comes with gardening. It's an adventure, it's a journey, but it's just a thrill to be able to get out here and just see what you've been able to achieve by just taking one little seed, putting it in the ground, and then watching it grow, and then seeing your produce and your harvest that comes from it. So again, from Dave at Dave's Raised Bed Garden, I just thank you for being a part of my page. Thank you for being a part of my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to it yet, please hit the like button, like my videos. You'll be notified every time I put a new one on there. On my Facebook page, let me remind you, I also have other gardeners that I put on there. I give a lot of information. I just believe that's a great tool for all of us new gardeners, and even the ones that have a lot of experience, because what you may be able to do, I may not be able to, or I've not been able to achieve it. And then what it does, it gives me ideas to make myself a better gardener. So from Dave at Dave's Raised Bed Garden, next time, God bless you and take care.